What's up and welcome back to the channel for another video. So today we're going to be ranking all Fortnite vehicles now that cars are out. And so I'm kind of excited to see where some of these land, how they end up. They might be controversial. And if you disagree with me, make sure you leave that in the comments below. Let me know what you would rank differently than how I ranked it. And of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button, slap that noti bell as well. And you can always catch me on Twitch Monday nights and Thursday nights, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. But with that being said, let's dive right into this ranking. All right, so the 4 things that we need to be aware of while we're ranking is how fun was the vehicle, how much mobility did the vehicle offer, what was the intent of the vehicle, right? Like, what was the goal of the vehicle? Finally, what were the offensive capabilities of the vehicles? Because some of these offered offensive capabilities and some did not at all. All right, going purely off memory, I think this is what it was. That was the order of release. Maybe not. Who knows? Let's just roll with it, though. I remember when the shopping cart was added to the game. It was really cool. It was super hype. People were trick-shotting with it all the time, but it didn't really offer a lot of mobility. It was our first vehicle, but like quotes vehicle. I'm pretty sure Epic added it to the game as a joke. Like, I don't even think they were still planning on doing vehicles at this point. You could go downhill a little bit faster with it. That was about the big thing. And if your teammate was pushing you, then you could shoot while you're in the basket. It really didn't offer a lot. At the time, it was cool, and a lot of you have great memories with it. Like, there are some good memories with it. But as far as compared to the rest of the vehicles, it's not great. It's not a great vehicle. It's just kind of it's there. It is what it is. The ATK. Ooh, this is when Fortnite said, all right, we are gonna do vehicles. It moved faster. You could carry 4 people, and this is the first time that we really see the boost become a part of vehicles. Now, yeah, they do it through like this drift, so you had to like drift into your boost, but it was a boost nonetheless. Here's the thing. I'm actually gonna rate this as average, and I want to rate it and then explain it. And the reason why this is average is because this vehicle did everything just right for what the game needed at the time, but it wasn't super exciting. So it wasn't super fast. The boost was kind of difficult to use, and if you were on it, you were a pretty easy target. I would actually say that I almost think I would have preferred having the ATK back instead of cars. We'll get to cars in a minute though and explain why they are the right move for this season and what Fortnite needs moving forward. Next up though, we have the quad crasher. We have the quad crasher. I always say quad crusher, but it is not. Now, the quad crasher is the first one that we are going to put in the great category. I stinking love the quad crasher. I love doing that little quad crasher glitch where you could like fly across the map real quick. Probably wasn't supposed to do that, but the quad crasher was fun. It had the standard boost where you just had to wait for the recharge. You could use it again. You could do some damage to players with it, not a lot, but it offered great mobility. It was 2 people, so it was a little bit harder to hit somebody who's on the quad crasher. Great vehicle, so much fun. Maybe it's just the nostalgia, but I absolutely love the quad crasher. Now this one's exciting. This is going to be the drift board. I remember when it was added, and I was like, I can't believe they just added this to the game compared to what our vehicles are like now. If they added this, you'd be like, what the heck? That is an OP vehicle right there. The drift board was fast. It had the boost. You could pull off trick shots with it. It was a single vehicle, so while you're driving, you can still shoot, so there's an offensive capability to it. My favorite would be the ride around with, like, rocket launchers and stuff and just like jump over people's heads and rocket them with it. Just an absolutely great vehicle. Both fun, offensive, great mobility, and the intention was at that time they just wanted a fun game, and that's why the drift board goes up here. It is our cracked, absolutely cracked vehicle for Fortnite. Around the same time they added the drift board, I can't remember if it was right before or right after they added the drift board. It was about the same time though. You had planes added into the game as well. Now the planes, oh my gosh. The planes are interesting because when they existed, I loved them. But when I look back, I'm like, I don't want them. You could be like, yo, you want the drift board? I'd be like, heck yeah, I want the drift board back in the game. But if you ask me, hey, do you want the planes back? No, please no. The planes were like helicopters where you could just kind of hang out in the sky all day long, except for a few key areas. A, they were more destructive. You could fly through builds really easily, taking minimal damage to the plane, knocking people down, destroying things super fast. You could also jump off the plane and pull out your glider instantly, so you weren't taking fall damage if your plane was knocked out of the sky. People were standing on the wings of the plane. It was a lot easier to see and shoot players from the plane than it was from the helicopter, and that is why the plane is going down here at poor. I'm actually going to put it before the shopping cart because it was so poor, right? Like, it was just more poor. Like, the shopping cart was just poor because it was boring, but the planes were poor because they're bad. All right, so here we've got what is likely most fun vehicle in the whole game, and that is the Baller. We have here what is likely the most fun vehicle that has ever been introduced into Fortnite. That is my opinion. If you disagree with me,
just shut it.
But the Baller had great mobility. It had great defense. There wasn't any offense to it, but the defense was really solid. You could move fast. You could grapple onto things. It was just fun. And there was kind of a bit of a learning curve to it, where if you learn how to move in the right way with the Baller, that you can move faster, easier, get hit less. Now, the issue with the Baller, though, is the Baller was OP. It was too powerful at times. It also hurt how people played the game. We saw in the World Cup, people just kind of jumped in their Ballers and just huddled around, and it ended up for some very boring gameplay. Being able to hide away inside a glass hamster ball was awesome. I loved it. But it was too strong for the game, and that's why it was great. It was great. It was fun. It was silly, but just a little too good. We got the boom booms up right now, and I'm gonna rank them in a way that I don't think you guys are gonna agree with me until I explain it. And if you disagree with me, throw it in the comments down below. But I'm actually gonna say the cannons were great, and a lot of you are like,
what?
And let me just get to it. All right, the cannons were great for what they were supposed to do. The cannons weren't meant to be ridden on, right? You weren't really supposed to drive them around. They were slow. They were like the shopping cart, but even clunkier. Here's where the cannon excelled, though. The cannon got you from point A to point B fast. It also got you into fights fast. I actually have some difficulty at times considering it a vehicle, just because it's so different than a standard vehicle. But speaking of vehicles that don't quite feel like vehicles, we have everybody's favorite vehicle of all time, unless you're not a bot, and that is the mech. The mech. Oh gosh. Do I have to? Can we just move on? All right. So the boat. No, I should go back. All right. So the mech wasn't as much a vehicle as it was a giant weapon that fired many rockets, stomped down builds, destroyed people, farmed mats faster than you could ever farm mats, offered amazing defensive capabilities. It was basically an instant win button for the game. Mech sucks. Let's move on. We got the boats. I'm gonna say some things that maybe people don't like, but I think the boats were one of the smartest moves that Epic made moving into Chapter 2, and we're seeing it with the cars as well, and that is they are limiting how mobility works. You're stuck in the water. It's great for what it does, but it does one thing and one thing only, and for that, the boat is actually it's like a pretty good vehicle. It moves fast. They're pretty consistent, like you know where you can find them. You can fit your whole squad on them. They shoot rockets, so there's some offensive capabilities. I wouldn't really go after players with the rockets. It's actually a pretty good vehicle. Now, I'm going to say it's average, but I think it's average out of intentionality. I think it's average because Epic wants it to be average, not because it's not well made, not because it's a bad vehicle, but because it was supposed to be. So the helicopters kind of fall into the same category as the planes, but not nearly as bad. The helicopters are another aerial vehicle. They fly through the sky, which is fun. It's exciting. It's cool. Great marketing material, but it just messes up gameplay. To be able to grab a vehicle and then get to wherever you want across the map as fast as you want across the map just isn't fun. It just does not create fun gameplay. Luckily, there's no weapons, and it's not super offensive like the plane was. And if you shoot one down, you're likely to kill everybody on board because there's no gliders available. And so the helicopter kind of sits between poor and average. It's not terrible, but it's not really, I don't know if I consider it an average vehicle because it is kind of overpowered in the mobility side of things. So we're gonna say it's poor. We're gonna say it's poor. Better than shopping cart, better than the plane, just not quite average. Lastly, for the list, we have cars. We have the cars that were just added to the game. They're exciting. They're hype. There's all sorts of different cars. They all work a little bit differently, have different kinds of gas. Well, I think it's the same gas. It just works different. I don't know.
Get off my back. Get all the way off my back.
But anyways, though, cars, I think, were designed in the same mindset that boats were designed and helicopters were supposed to be designed. There's mobility, but it's not too much, and it has its weaknesses, right? So the boat is limited to water, while the cars are limited to roads and fuel, which I would assume moving forward, most vehicles will have a fuel limit to them. I think they were experimenting with planes at one point, requiring planes to have fuel. I think that's where Epic wants to go, where they say, hey, we have vehicles, we have mobility, but there's limits to it. Cars to me are average, but they are average in the best possible way you can be average. Very similar to the ATK and the boat, where they're average by design. They're average because they're supposed to be just a vehicle to get you from point A to point B. And so that's how I would rank all vehicles in Fortnite. If you disagree with me, drop your comments down below. Let me know what you would change, what you would do differently. But that's how I am gonna rank them. Real quick, before you go, take a second, jump over to Twitch. There's a link down below, twitch.tv/the_swaglock. You give me a follow over there. If you've already done that, right here are some amazing other videos that you should check out as well. Just kind of click one. You gotta click them, man. You gotta pick one. There's others on the side somewhere, wherever the other sidebar is, but if you could just pick a video, come on. I got things to do.